instead of doing an actual skill builder today, we're going to be going over some vocabulary words and problems that are going to be on your skill builder quiz tomorrow. I know we've never done this before, and it's okay. The skill builders you have been doing really aren't for a grade. It's more like a participation grade. So if I see that you're participating, you're giving your best effort, I'm giving you 100 on those. I know you do get a score, but that's to evaluate yourself, to know like what you need to work on or what you're really good at. Some of you have said that you're struggling with some of the problems on there, so that's why I'm going to do this review. I also want you to know what's going to be on it, okay? This quiz will be for a grade though, so if you don't have a piece of paper out, go ahead and get a piece of paper out and just follow along and take some notes. That way tonight you can study a little bit before the quiz tomorrow. Alright, so there are going to be 8 vocabulary words. I took them from skill builders from last week and this week. The first word is order of operations, which is grouping symbols, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So you could just write PEMDAS next to it if you remember what PEMDAS is. The next word is the distributive property. So that's going to be an example like A times B plus C, and then you would distribute out the A to each term, so you'd get AB plus AC. The next word is function, and a function is a relation where every input has exactly one output. So that was a relation where every input has exactly one output. Okay, next word is an equation. This is a mathematical sentence formed by placing an equal sign between two expressions. So what you need to remember is that it's just a mathematical sentence where there's an equal sign between two expressions. So if you see the word equal sign, that should help you remember equation. Next word is domain. That is the set of first elements in ordered pair or table. It's also all of the x values. So what that means is if you have a table with an x and a y, your domain is going to be the first set of elements because it's your x elements. Next word is slope, and that is the ratio of rise over run. So the ratio of rise to run. Moving on to integers. Integers are natural numbers, they're opposites and 0. So integers would be like -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3, etc. So there's no decimals, so it can be whole numbers and the negatives of them. So that's an example of what integers look like. And then finally, we have rational numbers. Rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed as the ratio of two integers and the denominator cannot equal 0. So a number that can be expressed as the ratio of two integers and the denominator cannot equal 0. Alright, so rational numbers, they can be whole numbers, so I could have like 2 or -3, but they also can be fractions, so they could be like 1/2 or maybe 3.25, but the denominator cannot equal 0 because then it's not really a number, because remember you can't divide by 0. Alright, so that's it for your vocabulary. Make sure you have all those words written down. Now we're going to do some problems together. First problem is -6 times 0.5. So if I'm multiplying decimals, I need to multiply -6 times 5, and then I would go back in and add a decimal place because I need one decimal place for the 0.5. Remember, a negative times a positive is a negative, so I know my answer has to be a negative. Negative 6 times 5 is 30, but I need to add a decimal because I've got one decimal place with that 0.5. So my answer would be negative 3. You also could just think about it like this, that 0.5 is the same thing as 1/2. So you could just take half of negative 6 and get negative 3. Okay, that's probably the easiest way to do that problem. Moving on to the next one. So negative 7 times 0 times 2. This one actually tricked me at first. I thought, well, negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. But I forgot that anytime you multiply by 0, the entire answer is 0. Okay, moving down here to the bottom left. So now I have 1 times negative 5 times negative 2. Well, 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. And negative 5 times negative 2 would be positive 10. Because a negative times a negative is a positive. Next problem. 13 minus, parentheses, negative 6 plus 7, and then plus 9. So remember PEMDAS, order of operations. I need to do the parentheses first. So 13 minus negative 6 plus 7. Well, negative 6 plus 7 would be positive 1. And then I just need to add or subtract in order of what comes first from left to right. So I'm going to start over here on the left. I have 13 minus 1 plus 9. So 13 minus 1 is 12, and then 12 plus 9 would be 21. Okay, moving on. These will be the last 3 problems we review. Up here in the top left, this is just another order of operations. So I need to start with the parentheses again. I've got 2 times 3 plus 5 squared divided by 4. So let's start with the parentheses. 3 plus 5 squared. Well, I need to square the 5. So 5 squared is 25, and then add on 3. So 25 plus 3 would be 28. And then I need to multiply 2 times 28, and that would give me 56 divided by 4. Okay, if you don't know what 56 divided by 4 is, you can do some old school long division. Let me do it down here in green, okay? Don't be ashamed. I know y'all have been used to using your calculators for a long time, and that's why we're doing these skill builders, because if you don't use these skills, you forget them. If you don't use it, you lose it. If I divide 56 by 4, I know that 4 goes into 5 one time. So 1 times 4 is 4. And then you subtract 56 minus 4. You would get 1. And then you have to bring down your next term, the 6. So 4 goes into 16 4 times. And then 4 times 4 is 16, which would leave me with the remainder of 0. So I know that 56 divided by 4 is 14. Alright, over here to the right, y minus 1/2 when y equals 3/4. So I know that y equals 3/4, so I'm going to be plugging that in place of y. So this would be 3/4 minus 1/2. And whenever we subtract with fractions, you have to get a common denominator. So to get a common denominator, I need to turn this 1/2 into 2/4. Because I know if I multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2 over 2, that would equal 2/4. So then I can rewrite this problem as 3/4 minus 2/4. And whenever you subtract fractions, you keep the denominator and then you just subtract the numerator. So 3/4 minus 2/4 would just be 1/4. Another way you could think about this is draw a picture. So if I have a whole with 4 parts, and then I start off with 3/4, so I have 3 out of 4 of these parts shaded, and then I'm going to subtract out 1/2 of this whole. So if I subtract out 1/2, I'm going to take away half of this, so I would just be left with 1 out of 4 pieces. Alright, last problem that we're going to go over. I have 5k plus 6t plus k minus 4 times m plus 2. So we just need to simplify this. So I'm going to leave 5k plus 6t plus k alone. And then I need to distribute out this -4 to each term in the parentheses. Make sure you pay attention that it's negative, okay? Pay attention to your signs. So -4 times m is -4m. And then -4 times +2 is -8. So then I just need to combine my like terms. So let's start off with the k's. You always need to go in alphabetical order. I don't know if I spelled alphabetical right. It's okay. So k comes first, so that's the variable that we need to start off with first. So I have 5k plus 1k would be 6k. Then I'm going to go to the m's. I'll just have -4m. And then the t. And then just my number, -8. So I think where a lot of y'all messed up is that you forgot to distribute out the -4. And then whenever you combine your like terms, you may have just made a few mistakes there. Alright, that's it for the review. So make sure if you've got any other questions, email me or text me tonight before your quiz tomorrow.